My name's Jack, this is Daniel, and Jackson in front of him. We're the diploma students, and we'll be talking about our project. Does Majora's Mask, Valorant, and That Dragon Cancer have when you put them all together into one game? Well, let's find out. Clockworker is the game that we've been working on. Now, Clockworker is a narrative-driven puzzle game with an emphasis on dialogue and exploration. The player must complete quests by collecting items and talking to NPCs in this cartoony, melancholic, but optimistic voxel world. The objective of the game is to complete as many quests as you can in a given time. Thank you for asking, what's the story? Thanks.
So, Clockworker was developed with accessibilities in mind. So, hey, too soon.
Sorry,
so like I was thinking about all sorts of things. Now the story of Clockworker is set in a grey world. And in this world, many characters, and each character in this world has their own quirk, or their own challenge. Some of them which are disabilities. But the main character has one of the most interesting quirks of all. And his thing is that he has a huge pocket watch attached to him, which slowly goes around, and once that pocket watch's time expires, so will he. But this is no good now, because if he has anything on his bucket list, it's to make other people's lives more colorful. So in a grey world, it's his interest to spread as much colour as he can before his time comes out. And of course, you know, we got a lot of characters, a lot of issues, so I mean, it's got a lot to do. The game is set in an apartment with 8 tenants or 9 tenants, or not including the receptionist, 8 tenants and 8 guards. And for every character the main player helps, their room will color. Yeah, this is some concept that I found out kind of as we were first developing. You can see the apartment. You can see the theme of the clock up there. It's a clock tower. And you can see on the left side it's when you just move them around. On the right side it's when you actually the other one he's helping people with problems, and that's why it's colorful. And depending on how many people you help, by the end of the game, it will reflect on how colorful the building is. So I initially developed the design, this kind of scratchy, Tim Burton-esque style. And so this was all well and good, but then we found out that we needed to make a 3D game. So we had to adapt to that. So we moved on the art style into a voxel style. So that's Pixel meets 3D, so you know, like Minecraft. And given the theme of it's grey, it starts with grey, we want to make it so when you do help people, we want to make it as colourful as possible. You see that guy back there, that's him. And actually above him, you see Jackson's head in the bottom. So it actually comes out.
Oh, thank you.
So, as you can see here, we've got our animated characters. Very lovely. Originally we were planning on using motion capture software to get the animation for our characters. However, without easy access to that sort of hardware, we opted to use Adobe Mixamo, which is a free library containing a bunch of motion capture software and data. With our kind of initial building design, we took a small amount of inspiration from the local architecture in Guildford, and of course the Guildford clock, of course. Who's this game for? Well, our game was made with accessibility in mind. This is shown in the story with our main character and NPCs, with their own set of unique challenges they must adapt to. We've also added settings links, so you can add a colorblind filter for those who are colorblind. There are subtitles for people who may have dyslexia or perhaps hard of hearing. And of course, an audio slider for those who are hard of hearing or maybe sensitive to audio. And we'd like to make our game enjoyable for those who like text-based games, such as light novels and similar.
So we look at the data.
Thank you. So as you see, 8% audience retention rate increase when there is the ability to change the font. 12.5% of the UK population has colour blindness, and 9% of the population suffers difficulty hearing in certain scenarios, as demonstrated by the graph.
So Paul, our art teacher, who couldn't make it today because he's tested positive for COVID, he illuminated me to this wonderful piece of handicap kit for musicians suffering from sight impairment. I thought that would be kind of cool to add into the game. One of the things I forgot to mention was that when you do help the guys, the colours, the rooms colour up, but they also start playing an instrument. And the more instruments you develop, the more fleshed out the soundtrack gets. This character, he sings piano. So the key to his task is finding those keys. He can can't play the bass and he's blind. And that's kind of how I also we try to incorporate the idea of accessibility into the narrative as well as into color blindness and subtitles and all that. So yeah, piano titles.
So to make this project, we used Unity as our game engine. We used Screen to GIF to get some evidencing and the GIF you saw earlier with the character animations. Magic Voxel to create the 3D models, as you've seen, created by Daniel. Piscal was used to create background artwork because we want to keep the pixely style. Mixamo, as I previously mentioned, for the animation of characters. Photoshop was used for initial concept art. Miro was used to manage our workflow and make sure we remain organised through the entire project. And of course, Critter was used to create our wonderful logo. That's what you get when you mix Majora's Mask, Valoran, and that dragon cancer. Thank you.
Before we move on, do any of you have any questions? Yep.
What happens when the time runs out?
When the time runs out, unfortunately, you perish. Well, yeah, we go to an end screen and it shows every character that you've helped out standing next to your grave, which now saying out loud sounds incredibly morbid. But yeah.
Just like also, how long do you have to complete all the tasks?
Currently, we've got it at around 5 minutes, just so you've got time to explore, but we're going to adjust it depending on how much we add in the near future.